Alright, welcome back to the WAFL. This video, we're doing a roster deep dive. I know there's been a couple of people who wanted to see the rosters, and we finally get a chance to go through. So let's go one by one, by position. Let's not leave anyone out, and let's see these rosters. So starting with the Antlers, let's get a nice overview. At first glance, Allen, Jacobs, Lockett. That's a pretty good trio, and the Antlers have been playing pretty well this season. So let's go back to QB. So Josh Allen, obviously 95, bazooka arm talent. That's good. And he got hurt. Kellen Mond actually came in a few weeks ago and played pretty awesome for a backup, for a 63 overall backup. So it looks like they're set at QB. At running back, Josh Jacobs, he's been a little banged up. He hasn't been, he's got the injury tag right now. Yeah, he hasn't been as involved, it seems like, in the video. So Lenny Fournette has been in, Hassan Haskins, Jarrett Patterson. So not much of the running game. We see a lot of Josh Allen running. No fullbacks. But here are the receivers. Tyler Lockett, Michael Gallup, Cedric Wilson, Ray McLeod, Danny Gray, A.T. Perry. So here's the tight ends, just a young group. Not that great. 73 overall, Isaiah Likely. Good line. We got left tackle 86, guard 79, 80, 86, Teller, McClinchy 80. So this is probably as stout as line as you're going to see. It's hard to find good linemen, as we'll see. On the defensive side, Dean Lowry's injured. D-line, a little weak. They spent most of their resources on offense, looks like. Bradley Chubb. All right, so linebackers, mediocre. Secondary, 80s. Forrest, 84. Phillips, 83. So, solid secondary. Weak, maybe you'd say front seven. Good kicking game. Jason Myers, can't be mad at that. Sam Martin, and practice squad. Oh, Puka Nacua on the practice squad. So let's check out the Armadillos next. Best guy, Nick Bosa. Captain of the bunch. Here's our QB room, Jared Goff and Mike White. And then running backs, Breece Hall, Damian Harris, Myles Gaskin, and Tyler Beatty. So really, Hall's getting a ton of carries, but Damian's gotten some goal line carries, I've noticed too. So, not a bad 1-2 punch. Hall's still young, so in future seasons probably will continue to go up. And then receiver room here is, a nice medium slew of receivers. Raymond's been good in the kicking game. Deontay Johnson and Brandon Cooks are all right. So there's Tyler Conklin at tight end, 78 overall. Then Strange and Wiles. And here is the Armadillo line. So left tackle 79, Wills. And then Ryan 70, Lindsley 88. 73, 77. So, kind of a patchwork line, but I guarantee that's most of the lines in the NFL. Here's Bryce Huff, Nick Bosa, 98, and Chris Jones. So the Nick Bosa-Chris Jones combo, that's a tough D-line. Nolan Smith, only 75, but he's young. Juwan Bentley, 85. Frank Clark, 76. A couple of medium corners here. Jeremy Chin and Jordan Fuller. So secondary is okay. The strength, though, that is that front four, but basically front two. There's Greg Zerline, Greg the Leg, Nolan Cooney, punter. So solid kicking game. Back to their overall roster. I mean, Bosa, Jones, you can tell where they spent their first two picks, and then the rest of the roster, pretty mediocre. But that's, I think, because of the way the fantasy snake draft went, it's going to be pretty balanced. Everyone gets their impact guy, and then it's going to be 80s, low 80s the rest of the way. All right. Next up is the Aviators. Lane Johnson is our top player, followed by Jamar Chase. So let's check out the QB. So Jordan Love, he's been up and down, but he is definitely the best option. Matt Corral and Sean Clifford backing him up in real life too on the Packers. Interesting. Jamal Williams, another former Packer. Not a lot of running game, I've noticed. Jamal Williams has gotten some carries though, some touchdowns. Jamar Chase has been dominant. Everyone's kind of in a negative. They're trending downward because they've lost so many games. But Chase, Peoples-Jones, Smith, Pascal, Callaway, and Thornton. So yeah, Chase, the main man there. And then a decent tight end, best tight end group we've seen so far with Ertz and Otten. David Bakhtiari. So a lot of former Packers on here. Interesting. So great left tackle. Left guard, not so great. But then really good center and right guard and right tackle. Wow, so this is the best line for sure. Look at these book tackles. That's pretty good. Surprised they haven't had more success with a good front line. Offensive line, good. Defensive line looking pretty weak. Best guy in the line is Akeem Hicks, but he's 33. Then linebacking core, Rashawn Gary, another former Packer. Interesting. So David Long Jr., linebacking core, Lindsey Carr. So linebacking core seems pretty average besides the Gary side of things. And then corners, so far every team's had pretty alright corners. Kenny Moore and Marcus Peters. Safety, free safety, Quandre Diggs looking good, 87. Chuck Clark, 79. Good backup, Kareem Jackson. Or whoever, however they use that. So defense pretty good. I mean, they have the best kicker, Justin Tucker. They have a pretty bad punter, Michael Turk. I'm sure he's fine though when you play with him. So the Aviators, in my opinion, they look really good. Surprised they've not won more. All right, the Bison, we have Dexter Lawrence. He's been dominant. So as we go through, QB Daniel Jones has been starting. We got Jameis Winston as a really good backup. And then DTR here at the bottom. They're a rookie. So Daniel Jones, yeah, he's been up and down. But the Bisons, they've been in every game, it seems like. Dalvin Cook, really high overall. Not sure if he really is that high, if we're being realistic. But Madden hasn't adjusted it. So Antonio Gibson's good backup. Mac, no fullbacks. So receiving group, not the best. If he had a good QB, I probably wouldn't worry about it with Daniel Jones. It seems like he's been throwing a lot to Paris Campbell in the videos. Calvin Ridley, though, looking pretty good. Just needs to get the ball more, I think. Waller. So the Jones-Waller combo follows them from the Giants to the Bisons. Decent line. 81-74 Glasgow. Weak center. 85 right guard, right tackle. Okay, so some holes. Offensive line's needs some work, but good left end, Cameron Jordan, Trey Hendrickson. So far, some of the best book ends here on the defense. That's good to see. Oh yeah, and then Dexter Lawrence. So between the three of these, the Bison's defensive line is stout. I like that. And then linebacking core is a little weak, but if you're playing nickel, you only really need two of these. So Collins and Perryman are solid. So solid defense. I mean, first lockdown corner we've seen. He's got the shutdown icon over there. So Sertan the second, King the second. So the seconds can hold down the secondary, I think, pretty good. There's 83 Hooker, Poyer 90. I like this defense. I've liked every team I've looked at so far. It's when they lose, it really is tough because anyone could win any week. Black Knights, Prescott is the starter. Jake Hayner is the backup. Mixon, not off to a great start. Mixon, it seems like it's been throwing with Dak, but I guess that's up to the playbooks. They got the Giants playbook with Daboll as their head coach. Pretty good 1-2. So young receivers only will get better with Pickens and Judy. Even Hamler and Dobbs are good 3 and 4 guys down there. And then when you have Travis Kelce too, the offense, I feel like the Black Knights offense should be a little better. Good left tackle. Tomlinson, good guard. Morris, 79, 81. 70. So this is like a solid B offensive line. This is, for the NFL to get every position locked down like that on the line, that's good. 79, 73. So ignoring the D line up in the draft. Good rush outside linebacker though. Good edge rusher. Good middle linebacker. Trayvon Walker. Okay, so linebacking core is one of the best ones we've seen. And then 85, 84 overall corners. That's pretty solid. And then Juan Thornhill, Terrell Edmonds. Alright at safety. So pretty average secondary. Good linebackers though. Really stout O-line and tight end. And then Joe Mixon is running back. I feel like this Black Knight offense needs to score more. Give the ball to Kelce more. Alright, so here's Stephon Diggs. Top man on the Blues. But the Blues have 4 players in the 90s. Harrison Smith, Aaron Jones, Von Miller, and Stephon Diggs. So Russell Wilson, he's been pretty good so far. Sam Howell, the backup, hasn't seen any time yet. Driscoll, third string. But Russell's been holding down the fort in the videos, going through those. Aaron Jones has been early MVP candidate, catching and running. There's Gainwell as the backup. Diggs is elite, 96. Jacoby Myers, 82. Robert Woods, good third man. So that's a pretty good 1-2 punch right there. Solid tight end, although 39 years old. Michael Mayer taking over probably next year. So I like the offense. Isaiah Wynn at tackle. Oof. So the Blues have been one of the better teams despite the weak line play. So maybe the line isn't valued as much in simulation as you would think. So your tackles Fant and your 266 overall starting lineman, that's pretty tough to overcome. But they've looked good though. Aaron Jones is actually running wild, so maybe they have good run block. Greg Rousseau. So offensive line, no. Defensive line, yes. The Blues. This must be the key to their success. The line is getting there. DeForest Buckner, great D tackle, great rush tackle. So another stout defensive line. You love to see it. Middle linebackers, average to below average. three solid, corners. So secondary looks good. Oh, we have Marcus Williams and Harrison Smith. So they invested where it matters. They got some ball hawking safeties. Kicking game is iffy. I'm liking the Blues. What about the Bulls? So the Bulls, just at first glance, they look a little bare. We have Jeffrey Simmons, 88, top player. He's a great player, but then it's 84. Tua, 83. So here's the QB room. Tua, 83 overall. He's been hurt, and it hasn't really mattered QB play-wise. Gardner Minshew has been playing pretty lights out for a backup. There's not been a huge drop-off. And then Jake Fromm is the third stringer. I think Tua only has like 2 weeks left, 1 week left. He's close to coming back. But they've been in good hands with Minshew. They haven't always won. That's probably due to other factors. But the Patterson-Swift combo is good. They've used Swift, I saw on the goal line. Patterson's had a huge run a week or two ago. Wilson, Tony. I've seen Richie James Jr. getting targeted a lot, which has caused a lot of problems. He's fumbled a ton. Carry 73. It's not like it's 53. And then Cole Kmet has had some big catches. He's pretty good, 80 overall. So solid tight ends, solid receivers. Broderick Jones, Cole Strange, Lucas Patrick. Line, pretty average. And then you get to Leatherwood. Weak O-line as far as what we've seen so far. Other teams have had some holes, but then they've had like really good tackles or something. So there's Will Anderson Jr., only 78 right now, but great potential. So the D ends look like they are good. D tackle, so another solid D line. Vander Esch is the high point of the linebackers. They're pretty average. And then Greg Newsome, DJ Reed, and then Justin Reed. So Reed, double E Reed and EI Reed, holding down the secondary. And then Julian Love, 80 overall. So this team is Tucker McCann, 66, but a decent punter. So the Bulls are interesting. They are pretty much a B- all the way through. It's like everyone's low 80s, high 70s, and they've been middle of the road so far. So here are the Caps. The Caps, of course, you might have guessed, had the #1 pick in the draft, in the fantasy draft, because they have Patrick Mahomes. Who's his backup? Drew Lock. Brian Robinson Jr. has been the lead back. A little sprinkling of P. Ryan in there sometimes. Hawkins is third string. Godwin and Olave have been the main targets. They've been getting a lot of, I've noticed they've scored a few touchdowns each game. So Mahomes has given it to his top guys. Scantling's, I haven't really seen much of Scantling or Pierce. So Mahomes throws it to his best guys, which is a good idea to give it to your best players. Evan Ingram, he's been pretty quiet. Taysom Hill on the goal line has gotten some attention. It's mostly been the Godwin show and Olave. And then here we have a, cornerstone left tackle, but he's been hurt. He's out 20 plus weeks. So that's going to hurt having Borum come in, or if they move someone from the right side. The line, though, if you include Thomas with the other players, is pretty good. I mean, you can get by on a 99 overall QB and like a B line, I think. So then D line is 75 McDonald. Jalen Carter. Okay, so Jalen Carter is the high point of the D line. Pretty good D tackle. Sanborn. Oof, the linebacker's not great. Okay, but Logan Wilson. So they kind of have, the approach has been at least one sort of decent impact above 80 player at each level, right? On the D line, they have Carter. On the linebacker level, they have Wilson. And then in the secondary, a couple 80s guys. So no one really too great in the secondary. Asante Samuel is good. So is Hobbs. So, average secondary. Kicker, didn't really have a great one. And there's Pat O'Donnell at punter. So the Caps, they're lucky to have Patrick Mahomes. But of course, that's what happens when you get the first pick. You get the last pick in the next round. And then you go from there. It was a snake draft. So, but a 99 overall QB is definitely worth it. So let's check out the next team. That's the Condors. So at first glance, they look pretty strong up top. Some troubles at QB. So Justin Fields had some good games. He's had some bad sack games, picks and things like that. It's pretty close with Matt Stafford, but I let the teams kind of run themselves. So he's the high-priced backup. Well, not really high-priced anymore. He realistically should be the starter. But the Condors have been pretty good, so it's tough to argue to bench the QB. So maybe some might argue Colt McCoy should start. Stafford, Fields. That's a good slew of QBs. In the running back group, we have Mitchell, Cook, Henderson Jr., pretty decent backs. Ayuk, Hardman, Osborne. It's Fields, so he takes off and runs a lot. So the receivers don't have that much stats to go with it. It would be interesting to see if we put in Stafford if he stayed in the pocket and threw more, because Ayuk is a weapon, and Hardman's got, he's got speed to burn all day. So, and then Mark Andrews, whenever we get a highlight, it's usually Fields throwing to Mark Andrews. So you think between Ayuk and Andrews, the offense would be flying. Tyler Smith, solid left tackle. Can at guard. 80 guard, 80 right tackle. So this looks like a pretty solid line. Fields holds the ball a little long. Having a scrambler trying to run, I think, impacts the line a little bit more than the overall. If you go by the games, you would think these guys are all 65 overall. He's getting sacked left and right. But that's pretty solid. Defensive line, Barmore, Jarrett. Okay, so Grady Jarrett, good left tackle, good stout 350-pound D tackle, Vita Vea. D-line looks good. Bowser, Bush, Clark. Not a lot of good linebackers so far. We haven't really come across a decent linebacking core. But at corner, they have Gardner, Stingley Jr., Sutton. Gardner and Stingley have been making plays. I've noticed the Condors secondary is pretty good. Jordan Whitehead's been flying around. He's 79 overall. And Jamal Adams. Been pretty quiet, but overall they've been pretty good. And then at kicker, 75 and 74. So surprisingly, that's been some of the best kicking punting combinations so far. So the Condors, they've been winning. They're coached by Andy Reid, so I mean he's got the Chiefs playbook with him, so that kind of puts some of these players in the best position. All right, Desperados, Derwin James Jr., Chris Lindstrom. Top two guys. So here is an interesting situation. We have one of the worst QB situations. Trey Lance has actually played pretty good. He's been like pesky in spots. He's also had spots where he's thrown multiple picks. Heineke only 1 point short, and then Stidham is third string. So they're pretty even. You could see where if the Desperados were awful, like 0-5, we could put in Heineke. But Lance has come up with some big plays on the run, especially when he's running. He's better. Travis Etienne, Michael Carter. Deuce Vaughn. So Etienne, we've seen some Etienne and Carter. They've been all right. They haven't run for that much. Debo is our impact receiver. Corey Davis, DJ Chark. So weirdly enough, Debo hasn't been getting a lot of catches, but Corey Davis has been a red zone machine. And then DJ Chark's made a big player too. But the surprising comeback of Corey Davis, a guy who retired in real life, but he's doing well here. Then to the tight ends, Trey McBride, Max Williams, Jeff Swaim. Look pretty good. McBride's got great speed for a tight end. Left tackle, Bulls. We have some guard, center. Okay, so the line's weak, but then we have a pretty strong, one of the best guards in the game for sure. So Lindstrom is a positive. Okay, so the right side of the line with Moton and Lindstrom, that's where they got to run it. That's good. Miles Murphy, Jaron Reed, Al Wood. Al Wood should really be on the Redwoods team. And then he's 36, though he's getting old. Lucas Van Ness. Pretty good linebacking core, because, yeah, this is some of the best linebacking core we've seen in a while. Even backup, well, Barnes and Noble. So the Desperados, they got the best linebackers so far. Snead is a good starting corner. Carlton Davis, William Jackson. Yeah, the corners are not bad. Thompson and James. So, Thompson's pretty good, but then James is, one of the best, if not the best, strong safety. So the Desperados have some players. Jake Corliss, not a strong kicker and punter, but not many teams have those. It's a real struggle. Desperados, yeah, they look like they have some guys. It drops off a little quick, but they have Debo on offense, who's a weapon. They need to give him the ball more. I haven't seen him get as many catches. Maybe that's a QB thing. Maybe Heineke would throw more and not take off and run as much. But Heineke runs too. I don't know. And then an impact player on defense. Desperados, they're middle of the road. And then the Dragons. So Micah Parsons, he is our top player. So Micah Parsons, he's the top Dragon. Let's look at QBs. Kyler Murray, 80. Davis Mills, the backup. Jahmyr Gibbs has been solid. J.K. Dobbins, Matt Breida, Marquise Brown. He's had some real good weeks. He's been a touchdown machine. Adam Thielen, Rondale Moore. So pretty good receiving group. I like this receiving group for the Dragons. Kyler Murray's got some weapons to throw to. TJ Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends in the league. Charles Leno, so an 80 tackle. Christensen at guard. Nick Harris, Matt Feeler, Evan Neal, George Karlaftis, and Michael Parsons, Jordan Davis. All right, so the outside linebacker, Greenlaw and Leonard, that's the best linebacking duo we've seen. Denzel Ward, 88 at corner. Javon Holland. Elliott, strong safety, looks good. Cairo Santos. J.K. Scott. The Dragons got some pieces. They're mostly an average team, and then Parsons is your game wrecker. He's come on real strong at the end of games and closed it out. The Dragons they started off pretty bad, but they've kind of found their footing, I feel like. I don't know, the Dragons, you think they'd be doing better. So let's check out the Dreadnots. TJ Watt is the best man on the team. Geno Smith, he's been up and down, but he slings it. Carson Wentz, Kyle Allen is QB trio. Then for the running backs, we have Ezekiel Elliott, Jermichael Hasty, Zach Evans, CeeDee Lamb, some former Cowboys on here with Lamb and Elliott. Lamb and Boyd has been a good combo for Geno Smith. Geno Smith's been racking up the yards. He sometimes turns the ball over too much. Kyle Pitts, as someone noted, has been freed. He actually getting catches and touchdowns and things. Uzoma's a good backup tight end. This is a good group of tight ends. Go double tight. Jake Matthews, solid tackle, good guard, average center guard, good right tackle with Sewell. Dreadnots got a decent line. D-line is average with Hill. Another Uzoma, I wonder if he's related. So the D-line's not great, but maybe they're hoping to make up for it with an impact edge rusher like TJ Watt. Oh, best linebacking core. It's up there with that. This is up there with the, yeah, so with Watt and Wagner, this is a solid core here. Wilson. 75 is pretty good. I mean, there's not a lot of good options out there. Corner's a little weak if Rasul Douglas is your top guy. I mean, yeah, just above average. Cameron Bynum. Yeah, so if you look at safeties, corners, that's the real weakness. Maybe that's the real reason why they're losing and why they're in so many shootouts with Geno Smith. Maybe if they could shore that up in the draft or in the offseason somehow. All right, it's the Elks. The Elks at this point in time, I believe, are undefeated or something. The Elks have been one of the better teams for sure. Either way. Fred Warner's their top man. So Anthony Richardson, you know, one of the lowest overalls, but he's been playing really good. They've been winning. Trubisky, Malik Cunningham, Bijan Robinson, Alexander Madison. So it's been the Bijan show. Anthony Richardson and Robinson. Interesting tactic here with the Elks. They went with rookie. They went with high upside. I mean, these guys are impacting now too, but the Elks are like, the Elks are winning now, but also kind of set themselves up nicely, you know, with Richardson and Robinson for the future. And then Waddle too. So this young core is winning now. It's surprising. You know, we have Johnson's a rookie. Bateman is, was it 2 years pro? Same thing with Waddle. He's 89 already. The Elks really landed on something here. You know, not a great tight end, but they don't throw to the tight end. They just go to Waddle, seems like. Or Robinson on the backfield. Tyron Smith, good left tackle. Another rookie. So the Elks went with the rookie method. They're like, hey, we want to be good in 3 years. But they're actually good now. So yeah, that worked out. Line's pretty good. You know, left tackle's old, but he's 89, so that's good. D-line, however, below average. Matthew Judon, though, Matthew Judon's, I think, leading the league in sacks right now. He's up there at 90. The Judon-Warner combination has been pretty deadly this season. The Elks have been the best defense in total yardage. Adoree Jackson, Martin Emerson, more young core on defense. Jesse Bates, 92, only 26. And another rookie starting, so this blend of rookie talent and experience has really worked for the Elks. And their kicker, they've kicked the most field goals out of anyone. This guy's only 66 overall. So hey, whatever works. The Elks, they've been dominating. Jair Alexander for the Golden Eagles. The Alexander Tunsil, some really high overall guys. So let's see the QBs: Jimmy G, Hemi Guap, Skylar Thompson, Kurt Benkert. So Garoppolo, he's up and down. It's tough. 1 minute he's slinging it, 1 minute he's sacked a bunch of times. Ramondre Stevenson, Gus Edwards, Ty Montgomery, DJ Dallas. All right backs. Mike Williams has been one of the stars for them. Alec Robinson had a nice play recently, but there hasn't been a lot of offensive production. Robert Tonyan had the first few weeks. Tonyan went off. Jimmy G loves the tight end, at least so far in this league. Tunyan's been the man. Tunsil. So this is surprising to see. Tunsil at 96, Connor Williams at 92, Ruiz 76, Havenstein 82. This is a solid line, and the Golden Eagles have been under pressure every game. Good D-line, DeMarcus Lawrence, Carl Lawson, the Lawson and Lawrence attorneys at law. Grover Stewart, offensive line looks good, defensive line looks good. Impact middle linebacker and outside linebacker, Matt Milano and Levante David. Lockdown corner, Jair Alexander. You can shut down half the field with this guy. Xavier Woods. The more I look at the Golden Eagles, the more I am surprised they aren't winning more. It looks like their only weakness is, they got a decent receiver. Tunyan's been playing above overall. Stevenson's been okay. It's like QB running back is the problem. It's like, I don't want to blame Jimmy G. There's worse guys out there, but This team looks pretty good. All right. Defense with the first 3 picks. Interesting. Probably Herbert first and then some of these guys. We saw the Elks go all young. I mean, we got the 30 and up club, so they're not really banking, trying to win now, and it's not paying off. Justin Herbert, 88, 25, one of the best QBs. So all the QBs pretty much went off the board early. So the Huskies had like a top 10 pick. They grabbed Herbert. Kumar, good back to pair with Herbert. Devonta Smith, Elijah Moore. What else we got? Chenault, Barrios. Hayden Hurst has been targeted a lot. Rashawn Slater, former Charger. Eric McCoy, Trey Turner, Steele. You know, pretty above average line is good. Herbert has been playing really well, so the offense seems steady. The defense, we got Boogie Basham, Christian Wilkins, there we go, solid right tackle, or really good D end, good D tackle. Luvu, solid outside linebacker. Demario Davis, Browning, and then we have Gilmore, he's a superstar right at corner. Akuda, you know, maybe a bit of a letdown going from Gilmore to Akuda, but good safeties. So I like the Huskies roster. I feel like maybe does Herbert need one more piece, or does the defense need to pick up their side of things? They seem like the Huskies went high defensive side of the ball, and yet they have struggled at times this season. So I expect more from the Huskies, but I like all these rosters. It really must be like a matchups thing, just bad matchups. Here we go, Lumberjacks. Lumberjack Mac has been bad at times. Not as bad as probably real life he is. Jacoby Brissett, I mean, maybe bet the better QB. But you can tell they took Mac early in the draft because he's got a huge contract or at least bigger in comparison to Brissett. And then Foles. If they really wanted to win, they'd put in Foles in the playoffs. You don't want to put him in too early because he runs out of magic. But running back, Saquon, they should just pound the rock with Saquon. I don't know why they don't. Instead, Mac is throwing 50 times a game. Cooper, Mooney, Agnew. Mooney's come up clutch, and Agnew too. I mean, good weapons. Fant had some awesome plays this season. Orlando Brown, Kendrick Green, Linderbaum. You know, the line's all right. Mac's gotten sacked a little bit. Brandon Graham, 80. Zach Allen. Gottschalk. Kirke. We had the scoop and score. Van Ginkel. Marlon Humphrey. So the Lumberjack. Oh, Antoine Winfield. And Buda Baker. Oh, so wow, this great safety group. They even went, you know, with a decent backup too, Deshaun Gibson, and shut down corner Marlon Humphrey. So I like what they did in the secondary. I'm surprised in today's kind of like passing league that hasn't showed itself more, because the Lumberjacks I feel like when they lose badly. Weirdly enough. Maybe it's the playbook. Maybe we've got to look at tweaking some things. Barkley should get more catches, more touches. All right, now to the Monarchs. Lamar Jackson is our top player on the team. So Monarchs are another team with an early pick. You can tell, one, because they actually got a 90 overall QB. The QBs just run off the board first in the top 10 picks, and he's getting paid $50 million bonus there. So backed up by Matt Ryan. I mean, you know, pretty good backup. I mean, he's super old. But Jackson, he's in the MVP race. He's been doing great. Kenneth Walker, great back. We don't hear a lot about him, but he's been steady. Not a ton of impact plays yet. Who else is on there? Isaiah Spiller, Ronald Jones, Chase Brown. So the Jackson-Walker combo is a nice one, really nice one. Keenan Allen, he's been injured, but when he gets back, the Monarchs are going to be dangerous. In his stead, though, Jameson Williams has picked up the torch, and he has gone off this last few weeks. He might be our leading receiver right now. I think it's just the speed, something. Lamar Jackson can scramble, buy time, throw it deep, and then he's there with the speed. That's been fun to see. Dalton Kincaid, solid tight end. So the Monarchs look pretty good. They have the oldest tackle and one of the youngest tackles, both pretty good. I mean, you can do worse than 74 overall backup. Cleveland, Dahlman, Howard. Yeah, so 75, 79, 74. So it's pretty average, and then you get the important tackle for your QB, you know, the left tackle. So Monarchs offense looked pretty good. Agba and Young, that's a solid defensive line too with Oliver. So I feel like they crafted the team pretty well. They ignored the linebacking spot, but maybe that's overrated. I see a lot of teams kind of doing that. Tariq Woolen, only 84. Ooh, Tariq Woolen, 99 speed, and it shows. He's had a few pick sixes, or at least one that I remember, and he was gone. He's had some great tackles too. He forced a fumble. Woolen has been playing above his 84 overall. He's been doing real great. Jimmy Ward 87, Amani Hooker 80, Sanders solid, Sanchez kicking or punting solid too. So I really like what I'm seeing with the Monarch. They look good on paper. If they get Allen back, who knows? They could go on a run. So here we go. Let's look at the Mounties. Mounties have been McLaurin. Mounties have been one of the top teams in the league so far for sure. With Aaron Rodgers been playing well. I haven't noticed him do anything wrong yet. He's kind of been on his game, and even when he got hurt, even when he went out for like one game, maybe half a game, Malik Willis actually came in and he used his speed. He came in, scrambled around a little bit, made some throws too. Like Mounties have been clutch in those important moments. Kareem Hunt, 85. He's been playing real well, ripping off some runs. McLaurin has been on point. So, I mean, the Rodgers connection with Duvernay especially. Duvernay's come up with some big plays this season as like our slot guy. As the Mounties kind of slot guy. Then Dawson Knox, very good tight end. Here we go. The lines, 78 Cross, 75 Banks. Jensen, good center. Give the QB some protection up the middle. That's good. So Mounties haven't faced too much pressure. So it's interesting to see some of these lines with some holes, and yet they've held up, you know. It probably helps having an 87 overall center. So here we go. We have the Mountie D-line pay, 77 at left end, 85 Sweat at right end. Kenny Clark, great play last week. He got a touchdown. He scored. So D-line looks good. Linebackers don't look as good. Willie Gay's been making some plays. Singleton is 79. He's their best linebacker. But there's Slay, Keel Griffin, Kyer Elam. So Kyer Elam has had some picks as the third corner, which is interesting. Slay, maybe they're just not throwing at Slay, but haven't really seen his name called as much. Micah Hyde has been the defensive anchor on this team. Just impact plays everywhere. Marcus May. So Mounties, they look good. Pinion's been pinning teams back. Mounties have looked good since game 1. They've started fast, so hopefully they didn't peak too early, but they've been looking good. Nighthawks. So here's the Nighthawks. Nighthawks have an incredible top 2 here with Ramsey and McCaffrey. Bryce Young is the QB, backup Teddy Bridgewater, so solid, you know. He's just a rookie. He's been playing pretty well. It's all right. Teddy Bridgewater's a solid backup. McCaffrey has been playing well. He just got hurt, so Achan's been in, and it's funny when the backup is more explosive than the starter, and he's been actually carrying on pretty well. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been the focal point of this offense. It seems like he's been getting tons of catches. Njoku not as much, and rightfully so. It's been the McCaffrey show, and now that he's gone, it's been a lot of St. Brown. And then Trent Brown's our tackle here. Alan Jenkins. And yeah, so the strong side is definitely the left side, which is interesting now thinking back because McCaffrey's had a lot of big runs going left. So it's all connected. Defensive line, Wise at right end's pretty good. Smith is only 75, but he's a rookie, so there's some potential there. Clowney at 81. Quay Walker, we got a good backup there. Or if they're running a 3-4, it's decent. Phillips is good too. So linebacking core is pretty solid. Jalen Ramsey is elite, and everyone else is pretty, average to below average. But sometimes you just need one corner to lock down their best guy, and you can manage with the rest. Eddie Jackson, Delpit, Brett Maher's the kicker, Harvin is the punter. So they look pretty solid. The Nighthawks, they're in every game. It's going to be tough without McCaffrey, probably, but they look pretty good. Now we have the Oilers. Justin Jefferson at 97 is their best player. Kind of underutilized. And part of the reason is we've seen the struggles at QB. Pickett has been iffy. Let's be honest about that. Will Levis, is it Will Levis time? I don't know. Jonathan Taylor, one of the best backs in the league, but he's come on slowly. Had a few good weeks lately, but early on it was tough. Jefferson, Flowers. For rookies, Zay Flowers has come on strong early, but it just hasn't been enough. Jefferson's been shut down. Firemuth hasn't really been involved at all, it seems like. Luan, Green, Cole, Barrett Tucker, Reef. Yeah, the line is suspect, a little bit below average. And then the D-line looks pretty average. Okay, Armstead's a solid D-tackle, but it's not really enough. Hassan Reddick, okay, so great outside linebacker, great middle linebacker with Bolton, and Davenport's a solid third guy. But if you're going nickel, maybe you only have the first two. I mean, great linebacking core. Fuller, it's a good corner, 85. Hill and Brickster, not great at safety. Matt Prater, good kicker. I mean, they have a good kicker. 80's pretty good. They have Jefferson. I mean, you think you just get open with Jefferson. Jefferson, you think would make more plays, and then Reddick get to the QB more, but it's been tough. And then Pickett, he's not been great, but he's got a back he can lean on. Interesting. The Oilers, then I guess it drops off pretty fast. We get to 79 here pretty quick. Oilers are in rough shape. Orbits. Minka Fitzpatrick is their top guy. Jalen Hurts at QB. Andy Dalton, solid backup. He came in briefly early in the season. He actually did pretty good. The backups have been clutch for their teams. Miles Sanders has been running wild. Well, Miles Sanders has been good, but Blake Davis, Odell Beckham, Nelson Aguilar. Aguilar's had some clutch catches. Jordan Addison had a big run, catch and run the other day. The Orbits have been one of the better teams. Their offense doesn't like wow you, right? There's no Justin Jefferson. You got Odell Beckham, kind of, he's not very involved, it seems like, but Hurts makes it happen. We've got Jones, Jackson, Whitehair, Hernandez. Yeah, so this line is not amazing, and yet you wouldn't know it by the games. It's an interesting thing to see. The D-line's not amazing either. Tomlinson at 80 is pretty good. Barrett, Tremaine Edmonds, and Nwosu. Okay, so they really focus on the linebacking core. That's one of the strongest ones. And then we've seen, and then Chardavius Ward at 88, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Kyle Duggar. Okay, so they linebacker core and safety core looks really good. Wolf's not that great at kicker, but a lot of teams are like that. A lot of teams are struggling at the special teams. Top two Pioneers. Desmond Ridder is the starting QB, followed by Stetson Bennett, and then Josh Rosen. So one of the worst QB rooms probably. Desmond Ridder has been it's been a rough start for Desmond Ridder. Bennett, I mean, who knows how these guys would fare better. Javonte Williams, James Robinson, Joshua Kelly. Okay backs right there. T. Higgins, impact guy at receiver. Parker, Noah Brown, N'Keal Harry. It's all right. T. Higgins has been shouldering the load. He's been getting most of the catches, but the QB struggled, so it's been tough on the wideouts. Will Disley is there. In the Pioneers' defense, Ridder has great left tackle, great left guard, great center. Okay, it drops off, average guard, average tackle, but I mean, why can't we run to the left side? Or why can't we right this ship? Pioneers got talent, not on the defensive line as much. Matt Ioannidis is just okay. Shaq Thompson and Khalil Mack at linebacker is solid. Tre'Davious White and Isaiah Rodgers, pretty good corner pair. And, we got an impact safety for the Pioneers. Justin Simmons, Jalen Petre, Chad Ryland at kicker, Brad Robbins. They don't have, a 62 overall kicker like most teams. Pioneers have struggled, and you could almost point it exactly in the direction of the QB because the rest of the team has been playing pretty well, I feel like. Right, the Redwoods, 99 overall, Zach Martin. The Redwoods have some players. Martin, Adams, Derrick Henry, Tristan Wirfs. I think I saw they're 91 overall in offense, and yet somehow they keep losing. And it's not like Baker Mayfield's not playing well. I think he's been playing pretty good. Aiden O'Connell, Trask, the backups. So there's Derrick Henry. James Conner is a good backup to have. Devontae Adams went off early in the season. I feel like he's kind of, the production has petered off a little bit. Michael Thomas is there as the second man. Juwan Jennings. They have some strong red zone type receivers. Dalton Schultz, good tight end. This offense is definitely high powered. The line is great. I mean, when you consider everyone's 80s, 79, I guess. But then your tackle, your cornerstone tackle, and your right guard is 99. That's got to count for something. But the Redwoods have been up and down. They've surprised me. Sometimes I think they look ultimate, and then the next game they're way down. So maybe it's their defense. There's no one above 80 on defense. They went on all offense. Jonathan Jones is 83. Julian Blackman and Richie Grant. Okay, so we see the problem. James McCourt, they went all offense, which is kind of cool to see. But no one good on defense but Jonathan Jones, and he's really not enough to hold down the fort. And then when you think about it, their QB is 73, so there's room for mistakes there as well. So Redwoods, you need to address the defense in the offseason. Okay, Riverhogs, Aaron Donald, 99 overall. Sean Watson, 79. PJ Walker, Felipe Franks, then the running backs, Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire, some old Chiefs backs made it onto the River Hogs. DK Metcalf is your top receiver. Cortland Sutton. Joshua Palmer, not a bad 1, 2, 3. Hunter Henry, he's been playing great lately. Been tough to bring down. Jonah Williams, Roger Saffold, Ben Jones, Cam Jurgens, Paris Johnson. So the line is not amazing, but it seems like it's held up. It seems like Watson's had time. Zadarius Smith and Aaron Donald make a pretty good duo at defensive end, and then DJ Reader is your D tackle. So a couple of big hogs up front. This D line is looking tough. Eric Hendricks, good middle linebacker. So you got the D line set, you got the middle linebacker freed up on his blocks. Corners are just okay. McDuffie there at the top. John Johnson, Cameron Curl. So pretty solid secondary. B to B minus, and then Suckup and Townsend make a pretty decent kicking game. So Riverhawks, I mean, when Donald's got the blitz radar going and DK is feeling it, they're tough to stop. But they look pretty good. I mean, at first glance, you kind of think, they don't really have anyone, but a 99 impact DN does a lot. So the Riverhawks, you can't sleep on the Riverhawks. Sentinels, this has been one of the top teams. They tied opening week, but then they've run the table so far, I believe. Derek Carr running the Sentinels here. Joshua Dobbs is a good backup to have. McKee. Tony Pollard, 89. So we got the impact back right there. We have 3 good receivers. A.J. Brown has been dominant. Michael Pittman, Tim Patrick. I haven't really seen much of Tim Patrick, but the Pittman-Brown connection has been really good with Derek Carr so far. Irv Smith is your tight end. DJ Humphries, left tackle. Andrews, good center. And Lucas, decent tackle. So, good line. Janico Autry and Calais Campbell. They're old, but hey, 82 and 85, that's pretty solid for D-end Fletcher Cox. So they went the old experience route on the defense. 30-year-old Randy Gregory, Roquan Smith, one of the best linebackers in the game. Uche, Woozy and Yasin there. In the corners, this is not bad corners. There's some teams with, it depends. Like, do you want two or three 80s guys, high 70s? Do you want 190 guy, and then the rest are 70s? It's a tough choice. You can't have it all. Cisco and Bell, but when you look at the safeties, they look pretty good. McPherson is a good kicker. Ty Long. So there you go. The Sentinels, they are pretty rock solid everywhere you look, and you can't go wrong with having one of the best impact receivers in the game and middle linebackers in the game right there. They can run it when they need to run out the clock with Pollard. They've been tough to stop for teams. And then the Shamrocks. Here's the big Shamrock himself, Myles Garrett, 99 overall. Starting with QB CJ Stroud, 75, but he's been playing lights out, I feel like. Maybe a few picks here and there, but just like in real life, he's been playing above expectations. Zach Wilson, the backup. Chris Streveler, a couple old Jets QBs in there. Devin Singletary. He's been quiet, and then he's had times where he's ripped off like 75-yard runs. So that's been interesting to see. Rashad Penny and Tank Bigsby, they haven't really been used as much that I've noticed. DJ Moore has been an impact player so far for the Shamrocks. It's been Bourne, it's been Goddard. These guys, not Bourne. It's been DJ Moore and it's been Dallas Goddard as the main impact players in this offense. Really, the Stroud to Goddard connection has been strong. Trevor Penning. So here's the line. Vaitai, Compton. Yeah, so not a great line, but the way they've been passing, you wouldn't really know it. So it's an interesting thing there. And then there's Montez Sweat and Myles Garrett. Strong D-end. Anytime you have Garrett, you have a strong D-line. Hargrave, another great rushing D-tackle. So I could see part of their success. You got double Garrett, but you're freeing up Hargrave, who's also, and Sweat, who are also great rushers. So that's a tough D line to contend with. Jerome Baker and TJ Edwards make a good linebacking duo. Tyson Campbell and Darius Williams, solid corner. And then there's Tyrann Mathieu, Honey Badger, Ryan Neal. So I like this team. They look good every position. Riley Patterson, a good kicker. So Shamrocks, they look like they could be a contender. They look pretty good. And then Snowhawks, Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams and Cameron Hayward. This D line is going to be ferocious. Trevor Lawrence. Has played pretty well at times, and other times it looks like he's been under pressure. Interesting to see how this line is. David Montgomery, 83, Chuba Hubbard. Montgomery's been pretty quiet. Not a lot of weapons, so maybe this is part of it because it kind of has shown the receivers have been sporadic in their I don't know. The receivers they've been playing pretty average. It seems like Everett has been okay. Yeah, now that I see this offense, it seems like a pretty average offense. Trevor Lawrence has had some good games, but that's not the normal. It's not been consistent here on offense. Cam Robinson, Risner, Cushenberry, Bates, Smith. Okay, so this is an above average line. That's a pretty good one. But the offense, I feel like I haven't seen the Snowhawks excel on offense, but defense with Hutchinson, Hayward, and Williams, that's where the strength's at right there. Jonathan Cooper, Brooks, and Van Noy, they're good. Defensive line and secondary. I mean, this is maybe the top top tandem we've seen at corner. Because most teams, it drops off pretty quick. Most teams we've seen, it's dropped off pretty quick. But Diggs, Johnson, and Hayward are looking pretty good in the secondary. And then 81 and 76 on the back end. So, McKinney's solid. These are two solid guys. And kicking, punting game, not elite. But what is elite is our front line here. So the Snowhawks, yeah, I could see why they're middle of the road. They seem like they have some gaps they need to fill, but it's not easy. There's not really a lot of good players sometimes. Joe Burrow. Good to see Joe Burrow back on the Steamers. Tyrod Taylor is the backup. He came in, did a good job. It was a nice, serviceable backup. Joe Burrow 98, Nick Chubb 97. I mean, the QB running back combo. How are they not doing more? DeAndre Hopkins is 92, Drake London 81, Mingo Collins. The Steamers have potential. Dulcich is pretty good. He's actually had some big games. Burrow's going to the tight end, it seems like a lot. Taylor Decker is our left tackle at 83. That looks pretty good. 78 Lewis. Shaq Mason. Mekhi Becton. So this has been a good line. Burrow's taking some hits, though. Maybe he holds the ball. Maybe it's no one's getting open. It's tough to say. Defensive line here. Running a 3-4 looks like a lot of big defensive ends here. Above average. Not amazing. Josh Allen, Queen, Jones. That's a good group. James Bradbury, Dante Jackson. Corners look good. Jabril Peppers at safety. And Jaron Kearse, Taylor Rapp. So they managed to kind of build this solid 82 overall base defense here. Everyone's sort of good. Not great, but good defense. But when you have a good defense, but then elite offense with this QB receiver running back trio, you think I haven't seen the Steamers light it up as much. They've struggled at times, and Burrow was hurt for one of those games, so I mean, maybe that's it. It's early in the season, but just kind of thinking aloud, Steamers on paper look good. Thunderbird time. Max Crosby is injured right now. He started off the season at a rampant pace. He had a rampant pace. His sacks were off the charts in the first couple weeks, but he's been out. Ryan Tannehill, slow start, but he's been kind of pulling it together. Clayton Tune, Easton Stick are the alternatives, so you can see why they're sticking with Tannehill, Najee Harris, Zach Moss, Rashawn Johnson, trio of backs. Mike Evans has been the go-to guy. He's been playing well. Juju Smith-Schuster and Claypool haven't really gotten the ball as much. Tannehill is kind of forcing it to Evans. Maybe that's why he's getting picked. Ronnie Staley, one of the best left tackles. Kelsey at center. Scherf at guard. Whoa. Ramczyk. This line is really good. Tannehill's been so bad, he's making me think they had a horrible line and they had no weapons to throw to. But I mean, Harris and Evans in the game, that's good enough, you'd think. So the D-line's looking pretty weak. DJ Jones is all right. Max Crosby again it's tough because they need him. They have some holes in the defense, and when he's out, you're stuck with Abdullah. It's just not the same. Devondre Campbell's good. Preston Smith, a couple former Packers there. J.C. Horn, Christian Gonzalez. This is a good young duo to have in the secondary. For the Thunderbirds, again, two rookie with Martin and Wilson. Sam Sloman at kicker. Stonehouse. They got one of the better punters. So Thunderbirds, I see a path to success because they have a good line and they have a decent back. Although Najee Harris is sort of always underperforming, they need Crosby healthy, it looks like, and they need Tannehill to get it together. Just be average. Here's the trouble in Tokyo. All right, Tokyo Tigers. Trent Williams is an animal. 97. QB room, Kirk Cousins, Hendon Hooker, Mason Rudolph. Cousins he's been Kirk Cousins. He's been good. He puts up stats, and then when you need him most, it just seems like red zone struggles have been real this season. They've been tough. Dameon Pierce, I thought played well. I haven't seen much of A.J. Dillon, Darrell Williams, Wayne Gallman. Pretty solid running back core. Christian Kirk, Curtis Samuel, Marvin Mims. All these guys, I mean, Kirk spreads it around. Kirk to Kirk has been a good. Kirk Cousins to Christian Kirk has been a solid connection this season. They just can't punch it in when they get to the red zone. Higbee is good. So Williams, McGovern. So not great overall, but they do have the best left tackle, if not top, 2, 3 in the game. That's got to count for something. Draymond Jones, Derek Brown at end. So Brown looks good. Joey Bosa, Mosley, Thibodeau. So if we look at the linebackers, one of the strengths of this team, but we just don't see the impact yet. Maybe they can turn it on later. Marshawn Lattimore, even Amos. Amos has had a pick or two. Cade York. So they're an interesting team. The Tigers, they have impact players where you need them, right? Left tackle, anchor the line, impact corner, impact edge rusher, some weapons with Christian Kirk, Dameon Pierce, Curtis Samuel. These guys are no slouches, so interesting to see why they cannot buy a win. They just can't do it. All right, the Voyagers. Cooper Kupp is the man, 98. Sam Darnold is the QB. You can tell by how each round in the draft, the salary gets lower and lower, obviously. And Sam Darnold only getting $2 million shows us the Voyagers said, we're going to wait and just pick up a QB on the scrap pile. So we're left with Darnold, Mariota, and Keenum. Darnold's been Darnold. He's had some weird bonehead plays, but then he's been pretty frisky at times, running and throwing even. So Austin Eckler, impact back between him and Algier and Knight. Maybe they need to get the ball running some more. Cooper Kupp has been elite at times. At end of games, I know they've won towards the end of game, and Darnold was just forcing it to Kupp. Maybe that's why Darnold's managed to keep his job. Robbie Chosen had a big play the other day. Gesicki. The Voyagers got players. I like this line. 80s across the board, not at center. Jackson, Brian O'Neill. Good tackles. They're just missing a decent center. John Franklin Myers. Dorrance Armstrong. Myers and Armstrong, they've been playing. I've noticed they've been playing really well considering 75 and 84 overall. These guys have been playing above their overall. Jonathan Allen, maybe because Allen's drawn the double teams. At linebacker, Sanders, Jewell, Michael Walker. So linebacking core is one of the weaker points. AJ Terrell, Mike Hilton, pretty good. Marcus Epps at safety. CJ Gardner-Johnson, 85 overall. So the Voyagers look pretty good. Jake Moody, so they actually got a decent kicker punter with man too. Voyagers, it's all up to their QB. We noticed QB and linebacker seem like the real rough spots. And center, maybe. But when you have an impact receiver and back like this, just get the ball out and let them run, right? Just get the ball to your best players. And then when you have a run stuffer like this in the middle, that really helps the D, you'd think. So Voyagers got potential. And here are we at the end. We are Wizards, our final team. We made it all the way through. Purdy played well to begin. He was leading the league in yards, but they've kind of fell off a little bit. Tyler Huntley is the backup. David Blau, third string, hanging on at 58 overall. Cam Akers, 82. Akers have been playing above his overall. I've noticed a lot of screens gone his way. Jeff Wilson and Kenyon Drake, pretty good tandem because Akers have been running and receiving well. Right, no fullbacks, receiver. It's Tyreek Hill and then a receiver. It's been Tyreek Hill and basically everyone else. Christian Watson has been okay. Not much of anyone else really, but I like what they've done here. We got Kevin Austin, Christian Watson, and Tyreek Hill, just speed demons. George Kittle, the Hill-Kittle combo looks great. The Kittle-Hill combo, a big reason why Purdy's kind of led the league in the first few weeks. It's kind of tapered off some though, but at tackle, 75, Batonio, 93. Ooh, tough center there. Nate Davis, 76. The rest of the line is good though, so it's decent, you know. So they can kind of cover up the center spot probably. At end, we have Leonard Williams, our best D lineman, next to Michael Pierce at D tackle, so that looks pretty good. Daniil Hunter, good edge rusher. Cole Holcomb, solid at middle. Elks Highsmith, solid at outside. Jamil Dean looks good. Deontay Banks is a rookie. Dean, pretty good. So corners looks solid. Savage is, Savage pretty average. I'd say it's Simmons, 81. So this secondary kind of tapers off a little bit. But when you have Tyreek Hill and George Kittle and some solid edge rushers and things like that, I don't know. I think Hill would make up for a lot of mistakes. So the Wizards have been up and down though. When they can get Hill the ball, they're obviously looking dynamic. All right, well, we've reached the beginning where we started. So let me know what you think of the rosters. I'll see you in the next one.